back to my channel. I am Berlatrice. If you are new, make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button and join the team, the squad, whatever. Happy New Year. This is my first video for 2020. I'm excited to do this video because I have been getting a lot of questions regarding, how we got pregnant, how much it cost, what steps did we take, how much did insurance pay, all that stuff. So I'm here to answer all of those questions and let y'all know the tea, okay? First thing first, make sure y'all like this video, comment down below. Also, I got my snack, I got my pineapples here. Don't mind my nails, I'm trying to get them off, so I cut them down. I got my notebook right here so I can read my notes because I wrote some stuff down because I want to make sure that I hit every point and like listed in the steps that we took, like each step or whatever. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. If I can find the clips, I'm going to make sure that I insert the clips in this video, pretty much like what I'm talking about or whatever. Don't mind my background, it's a mess. But okay, so the first step that we took, okay, so let me tell you this. I may have some of the prices a little bit off, just a little bit off, because with the insurance that we have, a lot of it was covered. All we pretty much had to pay for some of this stuff was like just the co-pays and then like for the medication or whatever. So I'm trying to make sure I remember how much everything was. But anyway, okay, so the first step that we took, so let me let you know also. So we went through Kaiser Reproductive Health. They do IUI and they also do IVF. So we went through them. And the first step that we took is called an HSG test. Now, what an HSG test is, it's an X-ray test to outline the internal shape of the uterus, and it is to show whether or not the fallopian tubes are blocked or not. Okay. So basically, what that is we had to do an X-ray where let me break it down. This test, I had to take this test twice, okay? Because the first time I went, it hurted so bad. Like, I'm not even lying. It hurted hella bad. I'm not lying to y'all. It hurted so fucking bad. I think that the doctor was new or something and he didn't know what he was doing, but that shit hurted so fucking bad. When you take this test, they tell you take a muscle relaxer or like an ibuprofen an hour before the test because it does cause cramps. So what the test is basically you lay there on the X-ray table, they insert a catheter inside of you, and then they inject you with like some dye, some colored dye, so they can see on the screen if your fallopian tubes are blocked or not. They want to see the dye going through your tubes. But when they insert that catheter in there, there's a balloon on the end of it, and they blow that balloon up to open your cervix, I think it is. And then they shoot the dye in. Y'all, when he opened that motherfucking balloon up, it hurted. It felt like period cramps times, like no lie, times 50. I'm not even lying. Like that, I had to tell him, no, like I can't do this. I cannot do this. And then so he's like, let me try to like, minimize it and, take it down a notch. So he tried that. And then the catheter slid out because the balloon wasn't big enough to stay in. So he's like, well, I have to make it bigger in order for this to work. And I'm like, well, this is not going to work. So I was basically like, scratch this. I'm not finishing this shit. There got to be another way that y'all can see if these tubes are open. Jaquel's in the waiting room. I come back out. I'm like, girl, that shit hurts, okay? You are not going to be able to do this. It hurts so bad. It's her turn to go. She goes like a week after me or whatever. I didn't go with her, but soon as she came out, she called me and was like, Bird, that test did not hurt at all. I'm like, are you serious? Like, the way that it hurted me, it had to have hurt you a little bit. She said no. But she took her medication before she went. I didn't. So I'm like, well, maybe that's why it hurted me. She's like, no, it didn't hurt at all. So I'm like, well, maybe the doctor didn't know what he was doing or something. So I went again. This time I had a different doctor. And I told them, I'm like, I can't do this. So she prescribed me some, some real dope. You feel me? So I took that. And then she did the test. And I didn't feel shit. I didn't feel anything. It didn't hurt at all. It didn't hurt like at all. I think that was just the doctor. Maybe he was new or intern or some shit. I don't know. That was the first step that we took. The second step was we had to do a lot of blood work. They ordered a lot of blood work. They wanted to check our A1C, which is like our blood sugar, our diet. See, we got diabetes. Check for thyroids, our blood count, hepatitis C. We had to make sure that our pap smears were up to date. They checked for chlamydia, red blood cells, pretty much everything that you can think of. They checked for all that. We came back clear. Everything was good with that. So after the blood work, we pretty much we had to schedule a consultation with the doctor. So we scheduled our consultation. We went up there. We met with the doctor or whatever. She was so cool. She was super nice, super cool. She basically went over our options. She went over our blood work, told us that everything looks good. Went over our options, went over our insurance, told us what was covered, what was not. And she gave us we already went in knowing what we wanted, but your IVF, IUI, or ICI. We went with IUI, okay? So with IVF is where they basically remove the egg from out your body, and then they use the egg and the sperm, get the egg fertilized, put it back inside with the hopes that it's going to implant into your uterus. It's not a guarantee that you're going to get pregnant. Just like with all this, it's not a guarantee that you're going to get pregnant. Which for me, I didn't get pregnant on the first time. I did IUI 2 times in order to get pregnant. The first time it did not work for me. So that's IVF. ICI is basically inserting sperm into your cervix, and then the sperm swims and does its thing. Then you get pregnant. And then what we did is IUI, which is basically placing the sperm inside your uterus. And then it's pretty much the uterus, of course, is where the baby implants. So it's basically giving the sperm a head start and it's getting it closer to the egg, versus the ICI where it's putting it in the cervix and it has to swim all the way up, and do all that stuff. And then also with the IUI, it has to be washed sperm. With the ICI, it can be unwashed sperm. So with the IUI, we had to make sure that the sperm donor that we used, we ordered it washed because, it's going a little bit deeper and you want to make sure that it's clean. It doesn't have anything on it, in it. You don't want to get any infections, any of that stuff, basically. It seems like a lot, but it's really not a lot. It's really not, though. Like, these are all steps that you should take. I mean, to us, it was like, I'm glad that we took these steps, I'm just glad that we took these steps. We made sure that our blood was good, that we didn't have any diseases. Like, imagine getting pregnant and then you're pregnant already and then you're doing all these tests and you're finding out that you have a disease or that you're dirty, or even your sperm donor. Like, all these the blood tests that we had to take, the sperm bank that we went through, they require for the donor to take all these type of tests too. Also, we went through a genetic screening testing. So our donor, he went through genetic screening, and then we also went through genetic screening. That's basically testing to see what genes the donor carry, what genes we carry, because as you know, if you carry a gene and the donor carries that same gene, your kid's most likely going to have it. So for us, we came back negative for everything. Like, we don't carry any genes. The donor didn't carry any genes either. So, which is really good. The genetic screening we had to do, they tested us for like 275 or 295 genes to see if we had anything. And then the donor, they have to do it also. They actually, which I didn't know, but they have to come every single year to do another screening, like every single year, and to do another like testing and stuff like that, which I think is really, really good, because just because you don't have something in 2019 doesn't mean that you won't get it in 2020, and you up there, selling your shit to people, and they getting pregnant with, your baby, and you got too much going on. The sperm bank that we went to does require that. And I also didn't know that sperm donors have to have a college degree to be eligible to become a sperm donor. Did y'all know that? Our donor is smart, okay? Like, he is smart. I think that's really good. That's really cool that they do all this, you know, because it's so much going on these days. They got websites where you can, it's people that's like slanging sperm. Like, there's websites where there's men on there that's selling sperm, like, with no type of testing, no type of anything. Like, you can just buy it. Like, here, like you buying a bag of chips, like, here you go. Oh my God. So, we just wanted to make sure that we were safe and that we, you know, tested everything. And after that, wait, where was I? So yeah, so we chose IUI, which is where they put it, they use a catheter and they insert it into your uterus. Yeah. But before that, okay, so after we do the consultation and we let her know what our plan is, if we want to do IVF or IUI or ICI. She tells us, she said, okay, we'll do the IUI. So now what you need to do is you need to come back day 1 of your period. Come back day 1 of your period. And what they do is they do a vaginal ultrasound to see if, was it vaginal? Yeah. A vaginal ultrasound to see if you have any cysts on your ovaries. The reason why they want to see that is because the medication that they're going to prescribe you can cause your cysts to get bigger, explode, you know, all that kind of stuff. So you check for your cysts. If you don't have any cysts, then they go ahead and prescribe you medication. Now, the 2 options that they gave us for the medication was either one, which is called Femera, or 2, clomid. I chose clomid. Jaquel actually chose Femera. And what this medication does is it assists your eggs become mature. So if you're not aware, in order for you to get pregnant, your eggs have to be mature, which means they have to grow to, you know, a big enough size to basically get fertilized, basically. They have to be like between, I want to say like 20 and 24, I think it's called milliliters or something like that. I think it's called that. So what this medication does is it helps your eggs get bigger. So what you do is you come in between day 1 and day 3 of your period, and then they prescribe you the medication that you take for 5 days, okay? So you take that medication for 5 days, and then you come back on that like 6th day or something like that, and they do another vaginal ultrasound to see what your follicles are measuring, okay? So if your follicles are still small, or if they're still too small, they tell you, okay, come back in 2 days, because your follicles grow 2 milliliters every single day. So they tell you to come back in 2 days if they have not grown, which that's what they did for me. I went in and I'm like, okay, you're like I was probably like the first time I was probably like maybe when I went in, maybe like a 16 or a 17. She's like, okay, come back in 2 days. You should be like an 18 or a 19 or whatever, right? So when you come back, they measure you again. They say, okay, so it looks like you are ready. Like, it looks like your eggs are mature enough. It looks like we need to get this going. So now this is where it gets real at, okay? So then from there, what she does is you have the option to basically use a trigger shot. This medication is called Avadril. Now, what a trigger shot is an injection that you give yourself in the stomach to basically activate your eggs to drop. I mean, your eggs automatically drop after they get to a certain size. But if you're going through a process like we went through, you want to make sure that your timeline meets up. So therefore, when you're getting that sperm inserted, those eggs is coming down around the same time so they can meet. We don't got time to be waiting for these eggs to drop when they want to drop. We want to make sure that everything is in line, okay? She prescribes you the shot. The shots, yes, Avadril. So what she did was she prescribed me the shot. We picked it up from the pharmacy. The shot is $100. Well, from insurance covered some of it, but the portion that we had to pay was $100. She tells you, okay, we're going to go ahead and give you the trigger shot tomorrow. So go pick it up from the pharmacy, keep it in the refrigerator. And then tomorrow night around maybe, I think it was like 10 p.m., inject it in your stomach. So you basically just grab the little fat piece in your stomach and then boom. And then after you inject it, I think it's 36 hours from that time that you inject it is when your eggs are going to be coming down. So you want to make sure that you have your sperm already ordered. Okay. Now, talking about sperm, we researched several sperm banks and we chose one that was really good. And now the way that the sperm is set up, you want to make sure that you do your research on this donor, check his testing, check his genetic testing. We so much that we did. We looked, we searched. We wanted to also make sure that our donor was African American because we are African American, so we don't need to be walking around with no Caucasian baby. So we did get an African American donor. Now the sperm is the sperm costs $1,000. Okay, it's $1,000 per vial. Okay, so keep in mind that I had to get inseminated twice. So the sperm is $1,000, and then you have to get, well, you don't have to, but if you're getting inseminated within like 3 days or 2 days, you want to make sure that you get overnight shipping. The shipping is $275, okay? So basically our sperm was, we'll say 12, 13. We paid $13, we wish, but we paid $1,300 per pop. Jaquel went and I went twice, so you add it up. So then the sperm comes in from FedEx, I think it is. It comes in this huge tank box in this like freezer thing. You have to keep it closed, make sure it's, the seal's on there, all that kind of stuff. And then she's like, okay, we'll schedule you, come back this day by 8 a.m. Make sure you bring your sperm. Do not open the box because there's stuff that we need in there. I guess it's like these important papers in there that they need to show proof that the donor is clean, doesn't have any HIV, any type of infections, any stuff like that. If that box is open and that envelope is not in there, they will not do your procedure. Like, for real. And we know from experience because when Jaquel went, we opened the box and took out the envelope because we thought it was just like shipping information. So we took it out, we get all the way up there. We're ready for the procedure. She's like, okay, I'm about to thaw the sperm out. Where's the envelope that was inside the box? We're like, oh, we thought that was just like, the shipping information. She's like, oh, we cannot do it without it. We cannot do it. I'm like, what? Mind you, we're like 2 hours away. So I'm like, like, y'all gonna have to figure it out. For one, we didn't pay $1,300 for this sperm. We didn't drove all the way here. We ready. So what we had to do was call the sperm bank. He was able to fax us a copy of what we needed, and then we got it done, basically. That's pretty much it. Those were the whole steps. So then after you insert the sperm, she tells you, okay, she used the catheter, she puts it inside, and she injects it in you. She tells you to lay down for 10 minutes. She says, okay, she leaves the room for 10 minutes. She tells you to lay down. Now that 10 minutes, you can do whatever you want to do. Okay? So that's what we did. Take your pregnancy test in 14 days, like 2 weeks after. If you get a positive test, we'll go ahead and schedule you for a blood test. And then boom, there you go. Now, let me tell you. Keep in mind, y'all know when I told you about the trigger shot, right? Now, the shot to make your eggs come down, that is a pregnancy hormone, okay? So when you take that shot, it's a pregnancy hormone. So everything that you're feeling is like pregnancy symptoms. So my ass, the first time, I swore up and down I was fucking pregnant. Like, I just knew I was pregnant. I just knew I was. I was feeling like a little bit nauseous. I was getting like headaches. I was just smelling stuff extra strong. I'm like, I know for a fact I'm pregnant. I can feel it already. Not knowing. Well, I mean, I knew, but not paying attention to the fact that the shot also has those symptoms also. So what you think that you're feeling, it could or it cannot be the real deal. It could be the shot. I just knew I was pregnant, y'all. I took that goddamn test. I'm like, what? As far as the pricing goes, let's see. Let's add it up. Far as the pricing goes for the HSG test, that was we had to pay the copay for that, which was $35. Again, I took my test twice. Jaquel took hers once. Blood work is free. Let's see. Our pap smears, I want to say, do we have to do a copay for that? I want to say I did. Jaquel was up to date. I had to do a pap smear for myself. I think that copay was like $20 or $25. Let me see. When we had the consultation with the doctor, I believe we had to pay a copay for that. Mind you, we can't have our consultation together because we're even though we're together, we're two separate people, and we want to make sure that our records are, I guess, separate. So they couldn't do ours together. So Jaquel did hers, and then I did mine. Different days. So we had to pay two separate copays for that, which was, I believe, $20 or $25. What else? The appointment where we went to see how many follicles we had, and to see how many follicles we had, and also to see if we had any cysts, we had to pay copays for that. Mind you, I had to do 2 of those appointments. Jaquel did 1, and I want to say that those copays were $25 also. For the medication that I chose clomid, Jaquel chose Femera. I want to say, because we only take it for 5 days, we only had like a 5-day supply, so that wasn't too bad. I want to say it was like $10, so I had to pay $20 because I had to do 2 times of it. I had to do 2 months of it. So I did $10 for the 1 month, and then $10 for the other month, and then Jaquel, she did 1 month. Then we had to come back, and then they measured our follicles to see where we are. We had a copay for that. So just keep in mind, y'all, everything that I'm naming, I had to do twice. Jaquel did it once. And then I already mentioned that the Avadril shot was $100. So it was like, what, $200 for me for doing it twice. Jaquel did it once, $100 for her. So that's already $300. And then the donor, we already went over that, $1,300 times 2 for me, and then $13 for her. Plus gas, okay? We had to travel back and forth for these appointments. Like, mind you, when you go up there and then she tells you, oh, your follicles are not as mature as I want them to be, so go back home and come back in 2 days and we'll measure you again. That's another copay. That's another gas. That's more gas that we have to pay for. Like, Jesus Christ. But in the end, it's all worth it. So basically, you guys, we spent a total of $4,500 to $5,000 for everything, basically. Everybody for y'all positive comments and stuff. We've been feeling good though. I'm gonna do another video about my symptoms because people have been asking me like what my symptoms are and stuff like that. So I'm gonna do a video about that. Right now, I've just been craving fruit. Like, I've been into fruit a lot. I've heard too that means that you're having a girl. Comment down below if that's true. That's about it. Thank you guys for watching. And make sure you guys subscribe if you are new to my channel. Follow me, follow us through our journey. Join the family. If you guys are not following me on social media, I'm put my my Instagram right here. And I will see y'all in the next video. If you guys got more questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram or comment down below, whatever you want to do. And I will pretty much see y'all in the next video.